What's up guys, it's Taylor and I am back with another video. You already know the deal if you read the title. Today I'm recapping week 2 of Big Brother All-Stars, and I'm just talking about everything that went on in the house, who got evicted last night, and who won HOH. Like I said last week, if you're not a live feed or anything like that, you might want to click off until the next episode airs because I will be giving spoilers of who won HOH. All live feeders found that out a couple hours after the episode went off last night. So I will be revealing that, just a heads up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So starting off with last week's eviction, David and Nicole A were sitting on the block next to each other, and on eviction night, actually turns out that Nicole was the one to get evicted. And honestly, I kind of saw it coming. I mean, I didn't expect her to... she was so upset throughout the week. She was blaming Janelle and Kaser for ruining her game and everything like that. And I don't know, she just looked like a different Nicole. As you all know, she won America's Favorite Player last season and she got 3rd place. You know, so seeing her in a frenzy, you know, the week that she was, you know, could have and did end up going home, kind of sucked to see, you know. It's kind of like, wow, you know, I didn't think she would break down like that, but you know, it's the Big Brother house. Things happen. I'm not blaming her or anything. It just didn't expect to see it. But Nicole A ended up going home and David ended up staying another week. After the eviction, in the HOH competition, Tyler ended up winning the HOH for the week. And once again, the commission was in power. So Tyler, I mean, for the most part, he was pretty clear to his alliance who was going up. And even Janelle and Kaser knew that Tyler was going to put them up. You know, it really wasn't going to be anybody else. I don't even think Tyler really had his eye on anybody else except Day and Bay, but we'll get to that much. But for the most part, everyone knew that he was putting up Janelle and Kaser, including Janelle and Kaser. And of course, when Noms came, Tyler put up Janelle and Kaser. Before that, when they came back from the HOH competition and it was time to pick have-nots, we see a little bit of drama between Janelle and Nicole. Now, Janelle on feeds, and you know, I kind of only watch the edited show to get information like with the DRs and stuff like that, so I don't really watch it fully through. But, you know, I'm pretty sure she said something on, you know, the edited show too in the DR. Janelle doesn't like Nicole at all. Okay, like she doesn't like her voice, she just doesn't like her presence. You know, she doesn't really like Nicole, and I think Nicole liked Janelle, but I don't know, I guess them being in the Big Brother house together, you know, kind of just, you know, I guess Nicole kind of adopted that attitude. If she doesn't like me, I don't like her, you know, or, you know, something like that, you know. But there was a little bit of drama with the have-not stuff. Nicole picked Janelle to be a have-not, and she gave a little one-liner, kind of like a zinger, you know, and Janelle was like, girl, please, I ain't trying to hear all that. And so they had their little spat, very little spat, you know, going back and forth, and it was what it was. Also, and I talked about this, you know, a few minutes ago. So Tyler, I don't want to say he's having a hard time trusting Day and Bay, but apparently Danny overheard a conversation that Davon was having with some other people, and she was eavesdropping when they were in that little room. And so she goes back and she tells Tyler what she heard, and she tells Tyler that Davon was trying to flip the vote to keep Nicole A and get David out. And so Tyler holds on to that information, being the smart player that he is, and he tells David, you know, not knowing that David is actually pretty close with Davon. You know, well, maybe not knowing how close they are, but, you know, he doesn't really know that relationship. So, and he tells David, hey, keep it to yourself. This is between me and you. And Danny, of course. And this leads to something bigger that happens in David actually running. Well, he doesn't go straight to Davon. He goes to Bailey and he tells Bailey, oh, I heard this about Davon. Apparently she was trying to flip the vote and everything like that. Bailey obviously has red flags up. She's trying to steer him. She's like, Davon wouldn't do that. Maybe she was just trying to get clarification. She was just trying to, clarify what was going on, but she was never trying to flip the vote against you. And then, Bailey encourages David to talk to Davon, because if they're going to be aligned together, because they all want to work together, if they're going to be aligned together, they have to trust each other. And she doesn't feel that David fully trusts Davon. Even though David said that he didn't believe what Tyler said, I don't even think David believed that. I think he doesn't want to believe it, but he believes it. It's a whole thing. But anyways, Bailey, Davon, and David end up sitting down, all three of them together, and having a conversation. And David tells Davon what Tyler said. And of course, that causes Davon and Bailey to be like, oh, I want to clarify. I want to check and see where is this coming from and everything like that. And they hash that out, kind of. Not really. Because Davon, she feels like the trust isn't built between her and David. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. I feel like David feels comfortable elsewhere in the house with Tyler. And even though he kind of ruined that relationship. So after that little three-person conversation between Bay, Day, and David, David goes, I don't know, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but this is just funny to me. David goes back to the HOH room, and you can tell that he's bothered by something. You can tell that something's bothering him. Tyler can tell that something is bothering him. And, he just kind of looks, I guess, uneasy. So Tyler's like, did you tell Davon what I said? And he was like, they got it out of me, man. And Tyler's pissed. He's like, bro, like, why would you do that? I literally told you to keep it between you and me. And honestly, I mean, I'm not really a fan of Tyler, but I agree with him in this situation because, number one, me being the player that I am, I literally chose to make you my number two. I could have picked anybody else in the house, but I like you and I wanted to make you my number two. And I'm telling you this information because I'm trying to build trust with you. And you run off and tell the person that it's about? Come on, David. So obviously this causes distrust between Tyler and David. Tyler trying to do damage control and stuff like that. And he obviously tells Cody, and Cody's like, we can't trust him anymore. Like, what's wrong with this guy? And David, I don't want to say blew up. Everyone is like, David blew up Tyler's game. I wouldn't say he blew it up. He definitely damaged it, but he didn't blow it up. I feel like Tyler's still in an okay place, so it's whatever. But anyways, Tyler and Danny, who is the one that Tyler got that information from, they're kind of checking in with each other. And they don't have a spat, but Tyler's like, I heard this from you. Is it really true? Is it the truth that Davon really tried to flip the vote? Because I'm finally in a good place with her, and I'm hearing all this information and I wanted to share it because I trust you guys and whatever the case may be. Is it true? And Danny's like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's really true. Now, I mean, what Danny heard is what she heard. I don't remember the specifics about every conversation in that house. I kind of just take notes. But from what I remember, all Davon said was, we need to make sure that we're voting the right way. And this is the most important vote, and stuff like that. We just need to make sure that we're making the right decision. I wouldn't say that that's trying to flip the vote. But of course, in the Big Brother house, it doesn't matter, because, Davon and Bailey are also a part of the Slick Six, which is, I believe, Tyler, Cody, Enzo, and Danny, and Davon and Bailey. So, Danny overhearing Davon saying this is the most important vote and we need to do this and that, talking to people who isn't in her Slick Six alliance, obviously that's going to cause red flags. So I get it, but also Davon wasn't really trying to flip the vote. Whatever. So, yeah, David literally made a rookie mistake, and he's technically still a rookie. I mean, and then, of course, you hear people in the house saying he shouldn't be on an all-star season and stuff like that, which honestly could be argued because I don't think any other person in the house really would have made this mistake except David. And it's David's own fault because he's admitted that he hasn't watched any other season of Big Brother. Not last season before he came on, and not this season coming. I'm pretty sure because they were in quarantine, getting ready to come on the show. He had ample amount of time to watch just one season of Big Brother. and he didn't do it. So of course he goes and he makes a mistake like this. So it is what it is. We'll see where things go from here, but that was an interesting thing. Very. So basically, once again, Janelle and Case are up on the block this week. Tyler put them up. And it's time for the veto. And Cody wins the veto. And it's not looking good for Janelle and Kaser because Cody, you know, in his HOH was one of the he was leading the charge until Janelle and Kaser won the safety suite. He wanted to put them up too. So, you know, we aren't expecting Cody to use the power of veto on Janelle and Kaser. They did have a conversation with them. And this is what I appreciate about old school players. It doesn't matter if the person who won the veto or won the HOH doesn't like you, or y'all don't like each other, or whatever the case may be. You still have to play the game. You still have to fight to win. You know what I'm saying? So they both went to Cody after he won the veto, and, you know, they pleaded their case. Now, Cody obviously still didn't use the veto on any of them, but at least Janelle and Kaser tried, you know, instead of sitting around. So that's a good thing. Also, with Janelle and Kaser being on the block next to each other, they both campaigned, but they didn't campaign against each other. They just campaigned for why they should stay in the house. And that's true friendship. You know what I'm saying? Oftentimes, especially in New School BB, we see people who are friends or alliance members on the block together, and they end up stabbing each other in the back. Janelle and Kaser, they aren't that duo. They're friends inside the house and outside the house. They would never do that to each other. They campaigned, you know, and pleaded their case on why they each should stay. And that was really dope to see. I would have liked to see Keisha do something like this when she was on the block. You know, like I said, I was really excited to see her back. And the fact that she didn't even campaign, you know, to stay. Although, I mean, maybe it wouldn't have helped, but still, you never know. It's Big Brother. Expect the unexpected. So I would have liked to see her campaign. You know, but it's whatever. Seeing Janelle and Kaser campaign and still fighting to play this game, and even at times convincing people, you know, leaning towards the fact that maybe Janelle should stay, maybe the fact that Kaser should stay. You know, that's old school BB. That's what I love. That's what I kind of wanted to see more of this season, but I'll wait until the end to talk about that. But yeah. So kudos to Janelle and Kaser for still playing this game, even when it looks like they're dead in the water. Another interesting thing I really want to talk about is Danny's switch up from wanting to work with Davon to really now wanting Davon out of the house. If you pay attention to feeds, when feeds first came on, Danny was really adamant about wanting to work with Davon, and she really wants to work with Davon, and she trusts Davon and everything like that. And now, a couple weeks later, it's like, oh, we got to get Day out. She's so paranoid. I don't trust her and everything like that. And, you know, to be fair, as far as the paranoid thing goes, Day has been paranoid, you know, in some of her dealings in the house. So I'm not going to say Danny is completely wrong there. But the complete 180, I mean, what? You know, I still think Davon can be valuable to Danny in this game. But like I said, nothing shocks me. It's Big Brother. We'll see if... And you know, Danny's not the only one. We'll see if anybody's gonna pull the trigger on Davon and Bailey, because I still think both of them can be valuable to people in that game. But we're just gonna have to see how the season goes, basically. But that's that. Also, like I said, I never do things in order, but way before Janelle and Kaser were nominated by Tyler, they were gonna get nominated anyway. But Enzo wins the safety suite, and he picks Christmas to be safe as his +1 with the safety suite. And it's interesting because Davon asked a few people, but she asked Enzo to pick her because I think she wanted the punishment or something like that. And he picked Christmas. And Davon, I mean, she wasn't mad, I would say, but she was confused because Christmas isn't a part of the Slick Six. You're doing something for somebody who isn't in our alliance, and that's already raising red flags, because Cody, Enzo, and I guess Danny too have said multiple times that the Slick Six, it's a good alliance to have, but it's not something that they're really, you know, holding on to. And, you know, maybe that's why, you know, Day is on the bottom of the totem pole to them, because she isn't in the greater alliance, which is the commission, which is Nicole, Christmas, Danny, Tyler, Cody, and Enzo in Memphis, I think. So, you know, she's kind of low on the totem pole to them. She's not really important to them, I guess. But I think that did raise red flags. We'll see what she does with that information. So, bringing it full circle to last night's eviction of a vote, I want to say it was, what, 8-2? I don't remember numbers, but it was either 10, it couldn't have been 10-2. It could have been 10-2. Whatever. 2 people voted to keep Kaser. No, 2 people voted out Kaser, and everyone else voted to voted out Janelle. So Janelle was evicted last night. It sucked to see her go. I think anybody will tell you that Janelle is the queen of BB. I love Janelle. I was so excited to finally get to see her play, and even in her short time on Big Brother, on this season of Big Brother, I got to see why she is the queen of BB. You know, I kind of miss old school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm hating on new school or anything like that, but everybody's too nice. I'm not saying that you have to yell and scream and be mean to each other, but I want to see power shifts. I don't want to see a big alliance steamroll until the end. Okay, I don't want that. You know, that's boring to watch. I don't want to see everybody voting with the house. Oh, if you get such and such amount of votes, I'll vote because the house voting that way. No, I want close votes. You know, one vote off and the other person that nobody expected to go home goes home. That's what I want, you know. And I kind of appreciate Enzo, because, you know, I think this is like the second time that he's thrown a hinky vote. You know what I'm saying? We don't really see hinky votes anymore. I mean, New School BB does it, but not often. You know, everybody votes with the house. There's no cutthroat. There's no excitement in New School BB. And I really hope that going forward after this season, the producers, I mean, I don't know what exactly they can do about that, but they spice it up a little bit. You know, power shifts, you know, breaking up big alliances, you know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that, you know? Don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm not hating on New School BB. I like New School BB. I started watching Big Brother with the New School seasons. I've only gone back and watched the old school seasons, but yeah, they need to bring some of that cutthroat gameplay back. You know, everybody wants to be a social media star. Everybody doesn't want to be a BB player, you know? So I just hope things are different going forward. But anyways, it is what it is. Sad to see Janelle go, but I'm rooting for Kaser, and I hope he does really well this season on his own. And this is his first time being in the Big Brother house without Janelle, so that's also going to be really interesting to see. Last thing I want to talk about, once again, spoiler alert, if you don't watch live feeds and you don't want to know who the HOH is just yet, click off this video. Thanks for watching. But if you do, drum roll. HOH is Enzo. And this just goes back to what I was just saying. Now, obviously, I don't know, this isn't really production's fault, you know. The commission, somebody from the commission has won HOH now for the 4th time in a row. Now, like, I mean, I'm not mad, because everybody else needs to step up their game and start winning some competitions, okay? You can't compete where you don't compare. So everybody needs to step up and start winning competitions if they really want to stay in this house. But Enzo is the new HOH. He has some good ideas. You know, he's thinking about backdooring in. You know, he really, you know, wants to go ahead and send Kaser home because, you know, he's by himself. But we'll see what happens this week. And that's basically everything that happened. So, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll be back next week with another Big Brother update video. And once again, thank you for watching. Go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll be back as soon as possible. But until then, peace out.